All right, now we're ready to go ahead and install some software and make this, well, operational. And in order to do that, I really have to start with this little device here. This is a USB to SD adapter. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the hard drive or the SD card out of the Raspberry Pi, pop it into this bad boy, snap this into my computer, and then I can actually format the software onto it, pop this back into my Raspberry Pi, and the Raspberry Pi then can boot up with the necessary software that it needs to actually, well, run an operating system. So step one, insert USB. And the software we're going to be using is the Raspberry Pi Imager.
All right, let's go ahead and start making our media machine. Now, of course, yes, we want to watch some movies, but guess what? There's some tech involved in all of this. And that's another reason why I like doing this, because the tech that's involved. But yeah, I want to watch some movies too. So let's go ahead and get started. But before we actually can do anything, we need to format our SD card, our micro SD card that's in our Raspberry Pi. And we can do this with the official Raspberry Pi Imager software. You can go to raspberrypi.com and actually download that. Make sure you download the version that's compatible with your operating system. Once you download that, we can now go ahead and run the Raspberry Pi imaging software. So I'm going to choose a Raspberry Pi 4. That's what I'm using. And I'm going to also choose the operating system. And what we want to do is we want to install Raspberry Pi Lite. And that's going to be under Raspberry Pi Other and then Raspberry Pi OS Lite. You can do the 64-bit or 32-bit. Either will work in this particular instance. I'm going to use the Raspberry Pi OS Lite 64-bit. Now that I have my Raspberry Pi device chosen, I have an operating system I want to install on the SD card. And now the final thing I need to do is actually choose the storage device. And I've got a 16 gigabyte micro SD card into my slot here. I'll go ahead and choose that and hit next. Now, one setting that Raspberry Pi adds, which is really, really cool, is that we can actually edit some settings for the connection to this particular Raspberry Pi. For instance, let's say you have Wi-Fi and you want to connect it to Wi-Fi a little bit later on, or connect to your wireless network. Well, we can do that. We just need to set those things up. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Here are my settings for my Raspberry Pi. RaspberryPi.local is the host name. And Rich is my username, and I've set a password. Now, if you want to set up a wireless configuration, you could do that at this particular time so they can automatically connect to your Wi-Fi. Just check mark this information right here. Make sure you choose the proper country code. I am not in Great Britain, so make sure you choose United States. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be connected wired. So I'm going to go ahead and uncheck this. The other thing you might want to check is under Services, Enable SSH. This is going to give us the ability to actually connect to the Raspberry Pi from another system if you're unable to have a second monitor for your Raspberry Pi. So we can connect the Raspberry Pi to our network and then connect to it remotely by using the protocol SSH. And I definitely want this to happen. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure use password authentication and enable SSH is checked. Once I do that, we're on our way and we'll be good to go. Okay, so I'm happy with my settings. I'll go ahead and hit yes to apply these particular settings. And I'm sure I'm going to go ahead and continue. Notice that Raspberry Pi is warning you that all the information that's on this particular USB card will be deleted. And I do understand that, so I'll go ahead and hit yes. Once we do this, the Raspberry Pi Imager will begin to prep the USB card for installation into your Raspberry Pi. Okay, so we have a write successful. Everything's completed. All we need to do now is take our SD card out of our machine and place it back into the Raspberry Pi, boot it up, connect to it remotely, and then we'll get it started. Okay, so we have taken our micro SD card to be more exact, out of our system and placed it back into the Raspberry Pi. We've booted it up. Just in case you don't have a monitor connected to your Raspberry Pi, you might want to give it about 12 to 15 minutes to completely boot up, and then you'll be able to remotely access it. So again, we've put the card in, turned the Raspberry Pi on, it's finished booting up. Now we're going to actually connect to it so we can go ahead and install whatever we need to get working this media server setup. on this Raspberry Pi. So let's go ahead and do that. And again, we're going to be using the SSH command to actually get into this Raspberry Pi. So as you can see, I have open command prompt open, and I'm going to use SSH. And I'm actually connecting to it by the Richard username, I believe, Richard at, and the IP address, logical IP addressing schematic that I'm using is IPv4 192.168.0.155, and I did check and verify that that was the IP address, and we should be good to go. And it's asked me whether or not if I trust this particular location, and I do. The keys have been saved, and now I'm going to put in my password, and my password is "you are crazy" if you think I'm going to tell you this aloud. So there we go. And boom, I'm in. As you can see, my command prompt has changed to the Raspberry Pi. So I'm actually connected to the Raspberry Pi. I'm no longer inserting commands to my personal computer. As you can see right here, I'm actually putting commands according to the Raspberry Pi. So now that we're connected to the Raspberry Pi, one of the first things I like to do anytime I'm using any form of Linux is I like to make sure that the Unix system is entirely up to date. So let's go ahead and do that first. So I'm going to do the sudo command apt-get update, and it's going to go ahead and do some repository lookups, and I'll actually perform the upgrade by doing sudo apt-get upgrade. And once this is finished, I'll know that my operating system, Linux, repository of Linux anyway, will be completely up to date. So we'll give this a few minutes and we'll come back when it's done. All right, our system is fully up to date, and I feel rather comfortable that we should eliminate any minor issues by making sure our operating system is up to date. Now, before we continue, we actually need to do some other installations, and we're going to basically do a command that's going to allow us, our apt package manager, to retrieve some things over the HTTPS protocol, because that's how Plex actually works. This command will actually be posted within our stream. So there we go. Sudo apt-get install apt transport packages. All right, there we go. Once this is complete, we'll do our next command. Our next command is basically to ensure that our keys came from a legit place. So that's basically what this next command does here. And we'll hit enter, let it do its thing. Now that we have our keys in place, we can go ahead and actually install the official Plex repository. So I'll go ahead and do that as well. And again, these commands will actually be installed or given to you through the stream. And one more time, I'm going to go ahead and do another update. It may not be necessary, but I like to do it anyway. Yay. And now let's go ahead and do the final command to actually install the Plex Media Server. So sudo apt install Plex Media Server is a command that we need to run here. Here we go. All right, so our installation is complete. I don't see any errors, no warnings. Yep, installation successful. One more step. Let's go to the web address for our server. Again, that will be the IP address for the server that we've created with a port number attached to it. And for Plex, that port number is 32400. So let's go ahead and pull that up. So I'm going to pull up a browser here, 192.168.0.155, 3200. There it is. Hit enter. Ooh, it's loading. And yes, here we go. So we have Plex installed. This is on my Raspberry Pi, and it's running rather well. So if I look here on movies and shows, this is what's on Plex. And so they have a number of different shows and movies that are actually already on Plex. Ooh, A Christmas Carol is one of my favorites. Gonna watch that tonight. But what's on the movies that I've installed on my USB drive? So let's go over here to this movies category, and this should be the movies that I've installed on this USB drive that I have attached to my Raspberry Pi. So if I click on that, there they are. I've got Elf, I've got Lady in White, Last Action Hero, and a couple of other movies attached to that USB drive. So now I can go ahead and start watching these particular movies right here on this computer or any other device that's attached to my network. Pretty darn awesome. Again, if you have any questions as to how this is all done and any of the commands that we use to do this, just give me a holler and we'll make sure you get that taken care of. Alrighty, and again, there we go, watching the movie in full screen on this particular system, and it works like a charm coming off of a Raspberry Pi.